We are set to go. Ladies and gentlemen, people around the world, welcome. Hi, neighbor. What's going on, Nate? Neighbor Nate. All right.
Travel Nate Dan.
What's going on, everybody? All right, people around the world, welcome. This is the Weekly Beer Show. I am one of your hosts, Travel Man Dan. That is our other host. His name
Neighbor
is
Nate.
Neighbor Nate. All right. It's like hibernate, Neighbor Nate. All right, you ready for a show? Hey. Today's going to be an awesome episode. We got some delicious beers to go ahead and try. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. I got to go ahead and drop you a little good news. We got What Would You Rather, fun and exciting stuff. Oh, we already got Damien in the house, Chris Duncan. Hey, from snowy Western New York. I love it. I love it, guys. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much. If this is your first time hopping on, thank you for hopping on. Let me tell you a little bit about what we do here. That's exactly what we do. It's a beer review show, so we're going to go ahead and review beers. We got two of them today from the same brewery. Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it, Nate. High five. Yeah. All right. We're going to go ahead and got a bunch of segments throughout the show. Then we're going to go ahead and see which beer is the better of the beer. This is the Battle Series. Last week, post-snow Western New York. Nice. We had a Battle Series last week. Nate, go ahead and throw up a little graphic of what last week looked like. Yep, there it is. The winner, 2 Lights versus 2Z. And the winner was a 2 Lights by a 39. Did you like that beer, Nate?
Man, I loved it. It was a little bit different. It was kind of like, the champagne element to it and the grape really was different and exciting and fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really liked that beer. I thought it had a different taste to it as well. And really exciting stuff. That was from Allagash Brewery up in Oregon. So a very popular brewery amongst craft people. And, Nate, why don't you tell, we already got 5 people in the room. And if you could, go ahead, be sure to smash that like button. But tell everybody what we do here for our returning friends.
Guys, we review 2 beers every single week, and we take it to right here, the scorecard. You can see we talk about taste, price, style, popularity, X factor with a potential overall score of 25 out of 25. Last week, Allagash 2 Lights with a 39 out of 50. That was a pretty good score, Danny. Do you think we're going to get 25 out of 25 today?
There's a possibility. We have one of our returning audience members, and his name is the Tenacious Freak. He is one of the OG threes, Nate. Hi, neighbor. Have a Gansik. I don't know what the heck that means, but I'm sure you'll go ahead and talk to me about it later. Freak is an OG3. He was one of the very first people to start watching me way back when. Yeah, Bogsy's in the house. All right.
JB, what's up, man?
What's up, JB? Go Bills. I think I called him Davey. The baby. The baby. The baby's hot, bro. Everyone loves his music, dude. Everybody loves that music. You turn on like the top like hits of hip hop and rap, and the baby's like every other song. We got the baby and Nate Dogg talking. Bills Eagles Super Bowl. Who would have guessed? I mean, a lot of people thought about the Bills. Nate mentioned it sometime. When did you say it to me? A lot of people are talking about the Bills Eagles.
About a month ago, something like that.
No, you said to me like late July, early August, like the season hadn't started.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was more of like hype for the season more than anything else, you know?
Yeah, but I specifically remember calling Poppycock, and then, you were basically telling me that, no, people are talking about it. I was like, I haven't heard it at all, but certainly halfway into the season now, that does look like a possibility. But hey, Nate, that would be something else, wouldn't it?
It would. Unfortunately, news doesn't always carry all the way up to Buffalo, especially with the snow.
Well, they did get hit pretty hard, guys. I don't know if you guys have heard about it or seen it or whatever, but Buffalo got roughed up pretty good. The Bills game was moved because of the snow in Orchard Park, which is about 20 miles south of the city. So it got about just close to about 6 feet of snow. I don't know if you have any idea what that looks like, but it is, I don't know. Parts of it are magical, parts of it are dangerous, and parts of it are just a nuisance. It's pretty incredible, to be honest with you, Nate.
Yeah, people don't quite understand the lake, the wind and the fronts that come off the lake there, because I've seen people bickering about it online, and people from like the middle part of the country, like Iowa, they'll be like, well, we understand what it's like getting snowfall. I'm like, it's a very big difference between when we get in the middle of the country and what comes off of that lake, in early November with a foot of snow. It's a big deal. It's a lot of snow.
Yeah. I remember this one time they did this calculation of like the coldest places of the NFL to play. And just by the time that the games were on and the temperature, they did like a median average. And people thought it might have been Buffalo. Obviously, Minnesota didn't count because they're indoors. But it could have been Green Bay. But actually, Kansas City was the winner. But the thing about it is exactly what you were saying. That's taller than Devin Singletary, dude. It's crazy, man. There's a graphic going around where they're showing the snow up to the Bills. Josh Allen's kind of like this, but Singletary, all you see is his little peach fuzz. It's pretty awesome, man. But yeah, it's a different animal up there because you get all the cold, strong winds coming from Canada down into Buffalo, and they whip across Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and they dump on us, and then everything from, I guess, west or the Midwest comes across Lake Erie. So yeah, it definitely gets a lot of snow. Very dangerous for the older people. For the younger people, I think it's actually kind of fun. We were well adapted before COVID about shutting down. Right? So anyway, that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the Bills game today. The Bills won in their Detroit, and now they go home for a few days, and then they play the Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. So I'm pretty excited about that, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles don't play on Thanksgiving, but we get to watch your team perform. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, how did the Eagles do today?
They won a kind of a ugly game, but they ended up winning. It took them all 40 or 60 minutes to pull it out at the end with a quarterback keeper up the middle for about 12 yards and a game-winning touchdown by Hurts. So, yeah, they looked okay, I guess. Sluggish, but when you're 8-1, I guess it tends to happen.
Hey, a win's a win, a win is a win, right? That's what they say. It's the NFL any given Sunday, but we'll take them all. But moving on, it's time to get into the beer, Nate, and I am really excited about this beer. I got to tell you a story about this beer. I cannot believe this beer is actually popular and back in the scene because when I was working at a beer distributor place, I worked there for probably about 2 or 3 years when I was in high school and college, and on the summers and stuff. There was this beer, Nate. It didn't come in a box. It only came on 4 6-packs on a little crate. It was a gold can, and it was just, I think it was like $7 a case. It was the cheapest shit. And we had a pallet of it. It was called Narragansett. And every time someone would come in and get Narragansett, we'd all go, ooh, they went for the Narragansett because it was just a strange beer that we had never heard of, seen. It was in a weird cold can. It didn't have much for marketing in terms of a box. But it's made a comeback, and that's today's beer, guys. We're going all the way to Maine, the state of Maine, and we're going to be trying out from Narragansett. Today's first one is going to be the Lobster Guy, and it is looking good. It is called Narragansett Fresh Catch, the Citrus Seasonal Ale. Check that out. Is that the one we're doing?
No, and it's from Rhode Island. But what do you want to do? Do you want to do the lager or the fresh catch?
Have I been saying Maine? I have been saying Maine.
Last week's was Maine, Danny.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's okay. Yes, we're going to do the regular Narragansett, and it is from Rhode Island, not Maine. So sorry about that, everybody. I'm just a little jazzed up.
I guarantee you can get it in Maine, though.
Yeah, this one. Just hopped on to say hello. Enjoy your pops, fellas. Thanks, Rick. Good to see you here, bro. And hope you're well. But yeah, this is the Narragansett Lager. It's been around since 1890, Nate.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's one of those regional brewers that's got I kind of want to liken it to Yuengling without the intense notoriety that Yuengling has across the country. I think outside of the top 5 or 6 macros, Yuengling has the most sales in America, but they're kind of that level, in my opinion, when it comes to popularity within a region.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Pabst Blue Ribbon now, but I don't know. I don't know how popular it is out here. It says it's the beer of the clam, Nate.
It's a fisherman beer.
It's a fisherman beer. Okay, That's going to change things up because I thought we were going to Maine the whole day. I don't know why I thought that, but that's all right. But it's sold on merit. It's a lager. And how much? What's the alcohol percentage on this puppy?
5.05% even on this.
5% even. Okay, not bad. All right, pretty cool looking label once again. Check it out, Narragansett. All right, Nate's got a sweet shirt. Why don't you stand up and show us your belly?
My belly? What the fuck are you talking about, dude? There you go.
Oh,
Look at this guy. He's on the boat there. It's from Jaws. That's where it came from. Got this
yeah,
from
I like that. It's a great shirt. That's a great shirt. All right, so let's go ahead and what do we do, Nate?
Crack them, smell them, taste them.
Crack them, smell them, taste them. We got the Buffalo Bills glass today, all the way from Martine. Thank you very much. So
nice.
Go
I
ahead.
like that one.
Yeah, I like this one. All right, smells like beer.
Smells like a lager.
Yeah, it smells like your basic beer lager. But we'll go ahead and try it out. Let's go ahead and pour it.
Justin Markanowski.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that correctly? Or is
No,
it or
Marcinowski.
like Machuski or something like that? And I'm
Marcinowski.
Marskanowski. Marcinowski.
Enjoy the taste bud trip to Rhode Island. I don't know if I understand that. Enjoy the taste bud trip.
Oh, so like enjoy the trip with your
taste buds.
Rhode Island.
I don't know if you were calling me Bud. You know what I mean? But I swear I haven't had a drink yet. But there it is, guys. Looking good. Looks like a lager. And Danny got it. Thank you. Yeah. What's up?
Cheers.
Cheers.
I was talking to Justin. You didn't get it. I got it. Ooh, okay. All right.
I think he was talking about his name. Oh, that's delicious. That's got a great lager taste. I mean, look, you know what you're going to get with these type of beers, but that was not what I was expecting from a Narragansett. Like I said, I got some history with this. This is actually really refreshing. It's smooth. It's got no bite to it. The aftertaste is clean. I'm shocked, Nate, at how smooth it went down.
So you're going to be comparing this, in my opinion, to a Coors Banquet beer or a Bud Heavy, something of similar to that. So when you kind of compare it to that, to me, it tastes superior to those beers.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more body. There's a little bit more like character to it. It tastes like you're actually drinking something with substance. So for me, if you're going to compare it to those macros, this is kind of a lot better.
Yeah, this is interesting. I did not expect this to taste actually pretty good. I think it beats the pants off of Bud Heavy. Definitely beats the other one, the Banquet beers. Really enjoy this one, Nate.
Yeah, and you know what? It looks exactly like you would expect a lager to look like, right? It's got this slightly amber. It doesn't have that urine color that you might expect. We might be getting that from the fresh catch. We'll see as a golden ale. But this looks, smells, and tastes like exactly what you would want a good, solid lager. It's not going to knock your socks off to be the best beer you've ever had, but as something that's easily accessible, especially if you're in New England and you want to have cold beers in your fridge or something on ice, this is probably it.
Yeah, this is good. Hey, give me a cold lager. Give me one of them Narragansetts, eh? That's probably what they drink as their normal beer up there. Hi, neighbor. I still don't get the sign. Hi, neighbor. Have a Gansett.
It's just one of their slogans. They've been around for 130 years, and Hi Neighbor is one of those slogans that they've adopted. Also sold on merit, made on honor. There's a few of them, actually. It's quite an interesting brewery, to be honest.
It's a beer of the clam, dude.
I'm all about their marketing, their branding. I think it's great.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it wasn't what it used to be. That's for damn sure. I mean, literally, it was like, what are those things called that you keep the 6-pack in? The 6-pack holder, the wax plastic. They came in 4 of those. A case was like $7. But Rhode Island. All right. So sorry about that, guys. You're gonna feel the effects of Maine in a little bit, but we'll give Rhode Island due next week, I guess, because I completely blanked and spaced out. I had a lot going on this afternoon. when I was doing the show notes, I did notice the one thing is I won't be going to Buffalo, Nate. I won't be going to Rhode Island. I'll be going to Las Vegas next week. Vegas, Vegas. All right. Going out to see Nate and his family for Thanksgiving. So it's our annual trip, or I don't know. I go a couple of times a year, so I'm looking forward to going and seeing you guys. I'll be out there. We'll probably do some fun thing. We don't have any hot things to eat this year. We usually get it. Let's make another hot. Who out there like?
Man. If you want me to find something hot, I can just go to the pepper aisle and get us some Scotch bonnets and see who can survive.
Scotch bonnets, dude. I ate. What was the gummy bear thing?
Ghost pepper.
No, it was called something.
What do you mean?
The little gummy bear that we ate.
Yeah, it was. I have it right.
Yeah, that's me too. That's little nitro. Little nitro.
Little nitro. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The white chocolate was the white lightning.
Yeah, I mean, I was so worried about the white chocolate, but I'll tell you what, nothing was like little nitro. Hot gummy bear was the best thing.
That's the one that put me outside.
JV wants to see it. That was pretty fun. That's when we used to do it. I don't know. We'll have to see what we can get into, but I'll be in Vegas for a few days this weekend, so looking forward to that. Probably do some stuff down at the brewery, or have some kind of beer from Abel Baker's really good brewery down there. We've talked about a lot. Oh, there you go. I know there's another place called Cerveza that we gone to. That's not Cerveza, though.
I'm to see if we keep going.
Narragansett.
We can go to Cerveza. We can go anywhere you want, Danny. But we can go spend a couple of hours down on Brewery Row, and we can hit up all those spots.
Yeah, sure, neighbor. Have a Gansik. I'm not really, hey, neighbor, have a Gansik. All right. I'm not really looking, to get intoxicated all day long like we used to, but we'll see. We'll see what the day brings. Do a bourbon tasting. There you go. It's not a bad idea, JB.
Not a bad idea.
Switch it up a little bit. Switch it up. All right, moving on, guys. This is what we're drinking. It's called the Narragansett Lager. It's a delicious beer from Narragansett Brewing, Rhode Island. Nate, let's go on a little bit of a tour of this famous Narragansett.
Boom. Let's do it. You guys check it out right here, Narragansett. Narragansett, I believe, is an Indian tribe. Not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure that's where the name came from. But anyway, Narragansett Brewing Company presents Made on Honor, Sold on Merit, High Neighbor, all of those slogans. Love this brewery. The first taste of this first beer is pretty awesome. Where are they located? They are out of Providence, Rhode Island, not Maine. You can see Providence is kind of a weird state. A lot to get that chunky kind of inland state, and then you've got that kind of claw coming off the side there, almost like Massachusetts, where you have all the coastal lines and all the waterfront there in Providence or in Rhode Island.
Have you been to Providence?
I've been to Rhode Island. I don't remember where, but I don't think I've ever been to Providence. I remember we had a teammate at Wesleyan.
Yeah, Derek Periscandola.
There you go.
I always remember he was from Rhode Island. I always liked Rhode Island. I always find it fascinating because I never knew anybody in Rhode Island or Wyoming. And, and also, too, there's a really good show called Providence. And it was about the Irish Mafia. And it did 2 seasons. Like, I think it was AMC or it was one of the, it was it Showtime? Have you seen it?
I know what you're talking about. It came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was so good, man. It was like really good. And a funny, embarrassing story. Smoke wagon. A funny, embarrassing story. I was at this restaurant with my friend at the time that I was dating. And I was like, oh, that's the main actor. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, I've been watching the show. I was like right in the height of watching both. It was the first time like streaming and binge watching had been introduced. It was like of that period. So I seen this guy at the restaurant. Finally, after about half an hour of debating, I walked up to him. Now, mind you, he's at like a birthday party with his family or whatever. And I just want to say, hey, man, I enjoy your work. And I went up to him and said, hey, man, I really enjoy your work on Providence. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, you're the actor. I go, you're the actor on Providence, are you? He goes, no, I'm an insurance agent or something.
I'm an insurance adjuster from
Nantucket. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I know who I am. And at that point, everyone's laughing at me. I was like, okay, thanks. I walked back to my friend. I was like, get the check. We're done. Anyway, check out.
What do you mean, though?
He looks a lot like John Hamm.
A little bit. He's skinnier, smaller. All right, today's beer, lager. It is the Narragansett, the famous Narragansett Lager. It's 5.0%. Look at their untapped ratings. I'll tell you what, 105,000 check-ins at a 3.18 for a lager, Danny, is a very good score, right? If you're going to have Bud Light scores, they're like 1.5. Coors is like a 2.1. So the fact that they are like, markedly better than those macros, I think is quite telling. I really like, typically we show a picture of the beer, but I like this. They have it right on their website. This little logo that they have, made on honor for 5 generations. The famous Narragansett Lager has been one of the greats since 1890. Pre-Prohibition era drinkers toasted Gansett. Dr. Seuss illustrated Gansett the sock scored with Gansett, and the Captain Quint crushed Gansett. Today, the highest rated heritage American lager, according to Beer Advocate, is brewed to be clean, crisp, refreshing, and perfectly balanced. Hi, neighbor. Have a Gansett.
Hi, neighbor. Have a Gansett.
There's another picture, quite beautiful. I don't know. There's something about their style, Danny, that I really like. There's a picture of the inside of their brewery. I really like their logo. I'm not going to go on to the next slide, or I don't think. Oh, I am. Sorry. If you go to their brewery right now, this is what's on tap. They have a Bohemian Pilsner. They got a farmhouse ale, a Hefeweizen. Let me see if we have. There's the fresh catch on the right. And, of course, they always have their lager on tap. But they've got a pretty diverse tap list there, Danny.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing quite a bit. I mean, I never knew that. Like, haven't had one of those in a long time. Then again, not usually a lager drinker. Okay, so Damien is the first person outside of 20 years ago in Buffalo that I've ever heard anybody say they've had a Narragansett. So, I thought this was a long gone, dead, and down and under company. And it's not at all. They're flourishing. You can see their tap room looked like some type of Oktoberfest. They got a lot of different beers on tap. I can't really read that whole thing very well. I see they have a seltzer in there. Was there a stout?
Let me see. Fox Point there's a porter, IPA, fresh catch, barley wine, pumpkin ale. No, I don't see one, Danny.
They still got a pretty diverse menu with the barley wine. They got a citrus. We're going to get into the fresh catch in a little bit, but sour ales, and they got seltzer. So they're obviously doing what other people are doing. So that's pretty cool. They have a great shandy, Emily. Very cool. All right. I never tried them before. And
what's a shandy, Danny?
What's a shandy? It's like a half wine and half lager, or what's the other one? Pilsner.
Half beer and half juice.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So like typically you'll get it with like a lemon, right? So like a lemonade and then probably a lager that's mixed together. We've done a couple on the show, I think.
Yeah, maybe they're very similar to like a Rattler.
Yeah, very close. Very close.
I think one's champagne and one's white wine, if I'm wrong. So I don't know. But cool. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a try, Emily. I'd like to try any one of their beers. But if you're just hopping on and checking this out, this is what we're drinking now. It's the Narragansett. Okay, it's pretty cool. It's a delicious. I like their labeling. It's pretty neat.
Love it.
We'll get into that in a little bit on the design. But overall, it's not a bad lager, Nate.
No, it's really drinkable. We'll get into the price in a little bit. It's really affordable. If you're living in the Northeast, I would imagine you can find this anywhere. But this is the type of beer alongside Salty Crew, alongside Gillies, that I would want in my fridge. I would want a 6-pack of these 16-ounce cans in my fridge at all times.
Nice. Okay. All right. It's a bold statement. I like it, though. I like it. All right, moving on, guys. It's time for a little good news. Now, I hope that you guys are ready for this one. This is pretty interesting. Good news. It comes to us, okay? If you could, Nate, flip over. It says, I'm going to read in the dark here. Check that out. Looks like a dirt tunnel, right? Looks like something in Egypt. Because it is, but it has major significance to it. It's an ancient tunnel discovered in Egypt. It's thought to possibly lead to the tomb of the famed Queen Cleopatra. If you know anything about archaeology and Egyptian history, the tomb of Cleopatra was never discovered. Discovered near the, I'm going to butcher these names, so bear with me if you're Egyptian, Tapestria Magna Temple, west of Alexandria in Egypt. The tunnel was unearthed by an Egyptian Dominican archaeological research mission from the University of Santo Domingo. The tunnel itself was found around 43 feet underground, measured 6 feet tall, and stretched for about 4,300 feet. It's quite a while. According to Facebook post by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, preliminary studies of the tunnel have found that its design is similar to that of the Greece's Jubiliosis Tunnel. The tunnel's location has led the researchers to hypothesize that it may lead to Cleopatra's tomb, which has yet to be discovered. Cleopatra lived between 69 BC and 30 BC and ruled the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt for 21 years as the final leader of Egypt before it was overtaken by the Roman Empire. So this is huge significance. And what they're finding in there, I didn't really talk too much about it because the article is very lengthy and it's very National Geographic-y. But it's really interesting. It's really cool because they found coins with Cleopatra on it, and they found coins with her son on it, and her son later they found out the history of it and stuff. Like she was the one to go and sneak around with Julius Caesar and the Roman Empire and all that. So pretty fascinating stuff. But they never actually found her grave and her tomb. So they think that it had something to do with the earth being shifted and things changed and that it's underground. So this tomb, this tunnel might actually lead them to them. They're still working on it. I'm sure we'll find out if they do. But I just love fascinating things like this that, we've pretty much studied for years, Nate. But we still can't find the end result, which would be Cleopatra's tomb.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty nuts. It is good news. It's interesting. And, how long until they're able to actually figure out that puzzle,
Yeah.
It's because you're going back in time. You have to deal with what's there. It's not like you can create stuff and figure stuff out on the fly, and you got to figure out whatever's there. So we'll see.
Yeah, and what if it was? I mean, look at the when I look at this thing and the archaeologic dig of it, and I guess just take a look at the way those rocks are cut and formed, the way they're probably not perfect, but from the picture it looks like a pretty cool triangle. They're built. That is built for what 69 BC. It's a long time ago, man.
Yes.
Is a long time ago. Now, that is pretty fascinating stuff. That's today's good news, guys. I always try to bring you, whether it's a humanitarian thing, a social thing, something that is uplifting, or something like this, like a scientific discovery that brings us good news to help kind of, weigh out all the negative stuff, if you will. All right, moving on, Nate. Let's go, baby. Narragansett. Narragansett, neighbor. Or is it hello, neighbor? Narragansett.
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, neighbor. Derek Periscindola had quite an accent, if I remember.
He definitely did.
He not only was he Italian, but he was from Rhode Island, and they had that New England kind of hard accent. But very good beer, Nate. I'm enjoying the lager. It's refreshing. It's easy. It's kind of what Nate alluded to earlier when he was saying that it's very similar to a Bud Heavy or a Coors Banquet beer, but a little bit better. I wonder if this was the stuff that people were drinking 20 years ago. I mean, have they changed their formula? Probably not.
It's a good question. You figure over the course of 30 years of capitalism and them trying to find a profit, they've cut corners, right? So
yeah,
they're probably been able to do that while keeping the image or the taste or the profile of that beer quite consistent over that time. That's why they got chemists back there and not brewers.
Yeah, and you know what's always interesting too is like, how do you flip the switch on older drinkers? Because I think this was obviously they've been around for a while. They've been around since when, Nate? 1890. No, I don't think anybody's around from that time, but I'm sure our grandparents and parents, especially in the Northeast, know Narragansett very well. So how
Oh,
do they
definitely.
make the switch? Yeah, how do they make the switch to like make younger people enjoy beer, right? I mean, um, a good model for that and a good way to go ahead and kind of reduplicate that is the way Pabst Blue Ribbon did it. I don't know if they changed their formula or what they did, but there was a flip about 15 years ago, and I'll never forget. I was on tour, and people were drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon like it was like cool, and I was like, "What the hell are you guys talking about? Pabst Blue Ribbon, like the old man beer?" And sure enough, look at it now, right, Nate?
Yeah, it's not that they didn't change anything. The I don't know, the style came back around, and that's kind of what it is. There's a lot of breweries out there. Yingling is another one. Rolling Rock would be another one. Pabst Blue Ribbon, these kind of beers that are that have stood the test of time and have recycled back to popularity. So I don't think they change anything. I just think that's what happens. There's a lot of hipsters out there that like to go back in time and look at these old school kind of brands and bring them up and make them new again.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you know what else is very cool, Nate? Today's show and tell. Get ready, is going to be a fun and exciting one. I'm really excited. I already mentioned to you guys that I'm going to Vegas. I already mentioned to you that the Bills will be back in Detroit for Thanksgiving, the 9:30 game if you're on the West Coast, the 12:30 game in the East Coast. But today's show and tell was sent to me by my younger brother, Steven. And I get so happy that, it's very hard living away from my family. The older I get, the more I miss them. And then especially during the holidays, like, I'm going to spend time with Nate and his family, and I love that and stuff, but it's actually really hard for me. I don't really talk about it that much because I choose to live away from them, but still doesn't make it any easier. So when my little brother sent me a package, I was very excited about it. And check out today's show and tell. He made sure that I was stocked up, and these are the things that I missed because I got two brothers and two sisters. But check it out. I got a nice shirt for the Bills game. Yep.
Hell yeah, dude. You got a cornucopia out of the blue light box.
Yep. It even says Buffalo versus Detroit Thanksgiving Day 2022. So it's a very specific shirt. So it means a lot to me that my younger brother Steven sent this to me. I'll be wearing it, for the Bills game, thinking of my family back home in Buffalo. But pretty cool. Made by 26C. And it's a guy I went to high school with who was also the creator of Bill's Mafia. So shouts out to 26C and you, Del Reed. This is pretty cool. Here it is. This is my show and tell. And the one thing that I would say that both me and my brother both agreed to, though, about this, I don't drink Blue Light. I drink Blue Regular. So that's a little weird thing that's happened over the last 10 years. People are conscious of their weight and the calories from beer and things like that. So they drink light beer, right? But they drink 3 times as much, so it equals out anyway. I prefer the regular blue, but still pretty cool shirt, and I will wear it with a lot of pride as I miss my family on Thanksgiving. I can just go ahead and rub my clothes. Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
I agree with the rationale behind drinking the heavies versus the lights.
Which is what?
What's the point of drinking double the amount of the volume of fluid?
Yeah.
If you don't have to. I don't understand. So an extra 0.5% of ABV, I'd rather just drink 3 than 6.
Yeah, I never understood that. I don't know. Maybe you think that the day can go longer, but it might as well just drink the full flavored one, and we'll throw in a water here and there, take a break on it,
Agreed. Hey, everybody has their own style.
Who am I to say, right? I just run the show. Are you ready for what do you see that's new behind me? That was last week's show and tell. Buffalo Sabres, Mayan Mask. All right. But unfortunately, we still have not been able to string a win together, Nate. We've lost 8 in a row.
Sounds like a great team to talk about.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot of issues. There's a lot to talk about. We'll do it another time.
Do we want to talk about the last place Flyers? No.
Well, we were in first place at the start of the season after about 10 games. That doesn't matter. Don't want to think about it. Guys, today we're drinking Narragansett, Nate. So let's go ahead. Let's whack this sucker down and give it a score.
It's a really good beer.
Not bad. Not bad.
Really, really, really good. For what it is, it's a really good fucking beer.
Yeah, okay. When I look at taste on this thing and I do the comparisons, you don't get one flavor of it all. And what I mean by that is one flavor doesn't stand out. It's not prominent in the areas of malts. It's not prominent in the area of like a grassy, like a wheat flavor. It just tastes like a beer. And I know that's a simple layman's term. It is a lager. There's probably a lot more to it that they do it. But it's what you think of when you say, you know what, give me a beer. You get this one. If it never had the label on it, if it never had whatever, it could probably be paired with any type of food. It's just good beer, right? I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. I was expecting more of a metallic taste. It had none of that. I'm going to give it a score of 4.0, Nate.
I'm going to go 3.0. I think it's really, really good considering what the competition is in that segment of beer. I think it's one of the better ones. It's also not my favorite style. I would prefer a golden ale to a lager. So we'll see how the next one holds up to this. But for me, 3.0.
Okay, price. Now, this was an actual gift. This was gifted us by not only Nate, but from the Narragansett people, right, Nate?
Yeah, so the actual cost, both of these for a 6-pack of 16-ounce cans is $10.99. Both beers.
Okay, so $10.99, $11, $5.50.
Under $2 a can. 16-ounce can, by the way.
Wait, how much is it?
$10.99 for a 6-pack of 16.
Oh, 6-pack. I thought you said for 2 beers. Okay, so that's not bad. That's actually a good score.
Really
Look,
great price.
Yeah, it's a good score. It's a little bit heavier of a can. I'm going to give it a score of 4.0. I think you get a little more beer with it. I think that overall, I think that's right where you want to be for that price.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with 3.5. I think it's priced very, very well. If you're going to look at the competitors and look at a Bud Heavy, number one, you're getting a 6-pack of 12-ounce cans, not a 6-pack of 16-ounce cans. And I bet it's $9.99. Give me $1 more. I'd rather have the better beer.
Hey, neighbor, how about a Gansik? All right. I like the way that Narragansett does their can. I think it's got some kind of traditional look to it. It looks like something that you would see that's really old. I don't know, Dave, do you remember the older cans where it was like cut off and like you peel it back?
Yeah, they had the so this can itself for the lager is different. So if you go back and if you Google Narragansett and you look at the old can, it's like red with gold and there's kind of like a triangular, I don't know how to explain it. I should have had a picture of that.
Yeah, that's the one that I grew up drinking and noticing. That's the one I'm always talking about. Let me see if I can't find it.
I just found it. I got it. So
you got it?
Yeah.
There it is.
Do you have it on the here? I'll show you.
No, we used to get this crazy one, dude. I still don't see it.
Hold on. So
yeah,
right
it was
here,
very, very different than what. There's the shandy that Emily was talking about.
there you go. That's it in the top right, upper right. That's the old school lager can right there, Danny, with that red kind of sash, whatever that is.
Yeah, it's even okay. So it might have been regionalized, but the ones that we were getting were even different. Like
they've changed their style of can a lot. So there's if you kind of Google Narragansett through their history, I don't know. There's probably 75 different cans. There's many. Yeah, there's a guy, I saw a picture on Twitter probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and he has every single can that Narragansett ever released on, like, he's an old World War II vet, and he like made like these kind of shelves by hand, and he has probably, I don't know, 100 cans of Narragansett. It's pretty cool, man.
Huh. See, here's the one that I'm talking about that I'm used to seeing. This one's a little bit different. But like I said, it came in just a,
Yeah, so that's probably from 50 years ago.
like it's like a soup can. Yeah, that's the Narragansett. I like the way their label looks now. I think it's got a lot going on. The only thing is, I don't know if it's called Narragansett. I don't know if it's called Beer of the Clam. I don't know if it's called Lager or Sold on Merit. There's a lot of words going on. So for that, I'm going to strike him just a little. I'll give him a score of 4.0.
Yeah, for the style, I'm going to go 4.5. This is exactly what I think a lager can should look like. Is that right? It's simple, but there's a lot of character in the logo. I see it differently. I see lager as being very pronounced here at the bottom. Of course, they also have a clam, which I don't know if they're using that as innuendo. But anyway, for me, it's a 4.5.
Wow, nice score. All right, popularity. Look, obviously they're pretty popular. There's something going on. They've been around for a long time. They have a lot of check-ins on the Beer Advocate. So they're doing something right? But I don't know how well they're known out here or around the world. So for that, I give them a mini strike. I'm giving them a score of 3.0 on the popularity.
I'm going 4.5.
What?
They are wildly popular within the beer community. So that's how I'm kind of looking at this. The fervor in which people are wanting this beer from outside the region is pretty impressive to me. So for me, yeah, it's a 4.5 all day long.
Oh, man, I never even heard one person mention Narragansett. Never once. Okay, well, hey, that's what you hear. That sticking by it. We're going to go with the TMD X Factor. The fact that I used to, sell this thing and laugh at people for buying it, and now here we are doing it 25 years later. It's pretty funny. A taste, I think it's great. I think overall, I'm going to have a score of 4.0 because it does mean something to me when I call BC and I'm like, yo, you're not going to believe what we're friggin' reviewing this weekend. And he's like, oh, funny. I'm like, no, seriously, we're doing Narragansett. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yep, we're doing Narragansett. Holy shit. Remember all the old guys that would come to old town drunks? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. That shit was like $2.99. Actually, it was like $7.99. Anyway, can't believe it. 4.0.
Yeah, so for the X Factor, I'm going to go 4.0 as well. I just love the fact that the brewery, Narragansett themselves sent me this beer.
Dude, that's amazing.
So that's pretty cool. So, it's a nice little win there for me. But I also like the beer in general. I love beer from New England. If I'm going to rate New England versus really California, if you look at the two hubs, I kind of like New England more. So for me, I'm going to go 4.0 X Factor.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, the verdict is in on my part, Nathan. Are you ready for my score?
Let's do it.
The Narragansett Lager. Drum roll, please. Thank you, Steve. Here we go. 19. 19.5 for the man who can grow a beard, finally. Well, thank you so much, guys. That is the first beer. We got the battle series of the Narragansett coming up right after this. After these messages, we'll be right back. We need like a little commercial or something. All right. Well, guys, the first beer was pretty good. Narragansett, nothing to shy away from on a score of a 19. That's a decent score. The beer is definitely recommended here. Nate's got a 19.5, so we know that we're both feeling the same on all 5 of our categories. So definitely, if you get a chance to try it out, I recommend it. The second beer comes from the same brewery, from the Narragansett Brewery. This is pretty cool. And this is the one that I alluded to earlier. It's, well, I'll wait for Nate to come through. You saw it on the menu there. And it's pretty cool that they're going away from just their traditional macro brand from over the years and that they're attracting young people. I don't know if you guys saw that picture that Nate showed you. And we're going to get into something a little bit later that shows you the history of Narragansett. But the picture showed a lot of young people, and that's pretty badass. But today's second beer also comes from Narragansett Brewery, and it is called the Fresh Catch, and it is a Citra Seasonal Ale. Boom. Check it out.
This one, the fucking can is awesome.
It is great.
I mean, is there a better can in America than that thing? Look at that.
It's
The white background with a fucking big ass red lobster, very big, like pronounced block blue lettering. I don't know. I think it's awesome.
I do too, Nate. It almost looks like it reminds me of like a family eatery, like an Applebee's type thing. But then I think
I see what you mean. Red lobster.
I think because this is like the famous Narragansett. But sometimes when I'm looking at this, I feel like I'm drinking a can of Old Navy. Like I feel like an Old Navy. Damien, I don't think there's a better can. Nice, Damien. Damien's on with it.
Man, I agree. This can is badass. I can't wait to score the design style.
Okay, so it's got what, 4.2%?
Yes, this is a citra ale, so it is a golden or a blonde ale.
Pretty weak.
I'm sorry?
Pretty weak.
Yeah, it's sessionable. It's supposed to be where you're going to buy a 6-pack of these, Danny, and drink all of them.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. All right, they give a nice little story. Nate hasn't read us a story in a very long time on the back of the can. Let's see if we can maybe get him to do that towards the end of this review. He used to read a lot of stories that came up. Now some of them we haven't really come up, but hey, Nate, let's go ahead and crack this beautiful can.
Let's do it.
Ooh. All right.
There's a nice crisp snap to the cans of Narragansett, by the
way. Oh, dude.
Man, it smells like the last beer. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it just smells like a regular. Well, I'm getting some lemon nodes in there. I'm getting some lemon flavored in there. It is a Citra Pale Ale. So I got my favorite glass to drink this from out of the pack. This weird looking thingy. I don't know. I don't know. I like this one.
Pilsner glass.
Yeah, it's a Pilsner glass. And let's go ahead and drink it.
All right. This is going to beat the other one.
You think so?
Yep. It's a better beer. It's good. It's really, really good. So, guys, full disclosure, I've had this before.
Oh, man.
Hey, man, I got to keep it honest. I've had it. They sent me a 12-pack of beer. Of course I drank it.
They sent you a 12 of this, too?
No, it was like a 6 of each.
It's very nice of them. Narragansett, thank you so much for sending Nate and I to this beer. Really appreciate it. If you could somehow find your way to the T-shirt area at your place and send another one out, look at that. I think it's badass. I'm a real Jaws fan, dude. He's a Fugazi Jaws fan.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jaws fan. But yeah, great looking beer. Nate, not really dark, just amber, kind of looks like the lager too.
Yeah, it's very similar in color, at least from my lighting.
Let's go ahead and give it a try. Cheers, my man.
Danny, you're gonna fucking love this beer. Oh yeah, that's the one right there. That thing is a game changer. For what it is, man, that is fucking good. That is good.
It's all right.
The fuck?
Hey.
You are crazy. This is better than the lager.
Have Trellin, welcome to the show. We missed you. We really miss all of our European friends. I'm adjusting. This is the second month into our new time slot where we do it at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will say, though, I do miss our regular crowd of 10 a.m. On Sunday was my favorite time to do it. But, we're adjusting to it. It's always good to see you here, Have Trellin. But, Nate, I don't know. Let's get into this beer. It's okay for me. It's not the greatest thing, and I'll tell you why. The thing that I taste above the Citra is something floral, and I don't like floral tasting. I never like floral cologne. I don't like floral beers, and I don't like floral pasta fagioli. I don't like floral. That's what I taste.
Okay. So I'm not getting a lot of floral at all here. So the Citra hops are going to give you a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of pine, but it's going to be a little bit more mellow than you would get if you were going to get like a West Coast IPA. So that's what the Citra provides, is more of a mellow kind of hop, but the characteristics are there. So when you're drinking this, you're not getting just the flat line of a lager. You're getting the flat line of a lager, which is a cold fermented style, versus this one, where you're going to get a little bit more of that hot push. And that's kind of what they're going for. And I think they hit the nail on the head.
I got to go back in for a second sip. That's all I got to say. Maybe I was wrong. I've been doing this thing where
it's your preference, man.
I've been trying to pour the beer a little faster. And because of that, I get a lot more foam.
That's a good pour, though, right there. Look at that. It's beautiful. I'm serious.
It's got a lot of foam coming out. The foam is very interesting on this because
that's what you want.
It's really thick. It's marshmallowy.
Looks like condensed milk.
Oh, I love condensed milk. I used to hate it.
I bet you do.
What's it?
I bet you do. You love Vietnamese coffee, dude. That's right there.
Oh, yeah. Look at this thing. Okay, let's get back into it as I have the foam towering over this thing. Let me go ahead and suck it off right here and get it off.
There you go. There you go. Looks like he's sucking off a German.
Wow.
What do you think? Do you like it?
It's better than the first sip. It doesn't. You're right. It doesn't taste. I don't like hype, bro. If you don't recognize that by now, I gotta say, the can in the spot right now really looks good.
It does look good.
Yeah, it just the can is really good. I want to put the can right up there.
Nice foam. Condensed milk is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I never really used to like condensed milk, and then when I was in Hong Kong, I started drinking a lot of the teas over there, and they did this weird milk tea that they drink and coffee. And then I went to Vietnam.
You used to, like, bathe in. Was that not you in college that you used to dump the condensed milk all over yourself?
What? No, dude.
Like bathe in it.
What are you talking about? Was that you? You know that wasn't me. Why the hell would I dump condensed milk on my fucking body?
I remember you doing that. It was like, was it in North Hall or South that you used to dump it on your head and like shower in it? It was really weird.
First of all, I never did any of the things. Shenanigans were my thing, but nothing like that. You know what I mean? I would never compromise.
Shenanigans were my thing.
I would never compromise my ego that way. You're high, bro. I don't do dumb shit like that. All right, but anyway. Yeah, look, it's okay. It's nice. It's light. It's refreshing. It's got a little lemon flavor to it.
There's a bit of lemon. Yep.
It is a weaker beer, so I normally only drink 2 beers a week after the show. I'm probably going to go to something else. I'm probably going to go. Actually, I think I know exactly the one I'm going to do. Is the Crunchy Bears Milk Stout. I'm going to have after.
You still have one of those?
Yeah.
The ones from fucking Raleigh?
Yeah.
Dude, so isn't that the fruited milk sour? I mean, fruited milk stout?
I'm going to find something. I feel like drinking a stout after the show.
Cranking Bear? Is that what Cranking?
Crunchy Bears.
No. The name of the brewery. Cranking Arm.
Arm Crank. Crunchy Berries Arm Crank. Yeah, there it is. I have another one of those. I don't know why. But I got a lot of good stuff in there still. I'm just saying that this is a very light beer. Overall, it's not bad, Nate. It's not bad. It's a light.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So there's a bell curve on how you're experiencing beer. When you leave.
First of all, don't ever tell me how I'm experiencing beer.
But I already know because I know you, so I can hear through your commentary what you're doing.
I'll play.
Bell curve.
I thought you wanted to play this game. Wait! Stop the show! What's up, everybody? Steve's here.
Oh,
yes. Steve, you were an integral part of the show. I'm gonna bring it back. Look what today's show and tell was. From my little brother Steve. I love you, bro. This is awesome. You really found a sweet spot in my heart. You know, I miss my family so much all the time. And really, Steve, thank you so much. I can't wait to wear this. And I'll let everyone know that you sent it over from 26C. I appreciate it, bro. I love you. I hope you're staying warm. My brother's probably been plowing for 2 days. And yeah, he's
I know Vegas is a little bit closer to Buffalo than LA, but I haven't received mine.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd wear one, dude. I don't know if
I would
you'd
do it.
wear
I
it.
would absolutely. Are you kidding me? You got that cream soda T-shirt? I would absolutely wear that. I fucking love that thing.
Dude, it's a great
color. Is amazing.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite colors. There's only one other cream soda shirt I have. It's an Al Wazir shirt. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That is a very rare color to wear for a T-shirt, and your brother knocked it out of the fucking park. I gotta say.
Yes. Yeah, cheers to Steve-O, man. Thank you, Steve. Love you, man. It's awesome.
I haven't seen your brother probably one time. I think I met him twice, maybe. That was 2002, 2001.
Yeah, Steve's great, man. He's he really does. You know, when I come home, like my older brothers and my sisters are great too, but Steve, I really am closest with in terms of like hanging out with, and like he still lives in the house that we grew up with in Kenmore. He always takes care of me. Shit, there was a couple of times, you know, the one year I think I was flat broke, and I came home and he gave me a couple of C notes, you know, as an older brother for your younger brother, you know, to give you a couple of bills like that.
You need to get Steven on the show, Danny.
I would love to. He doesn't really like to be on camera, but anytime he wants to be on there, he definitely. We're trying to get him on the Edward 40 hands. Wink, wink, wink. Yeah, dude. You're gonna be there this year, right?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Tell us, do the
Next year.
thing. Yeah, sure. What about do the thing? No, you were telling us on the spectrum of drinking.
It's super awkward, isn't it? I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
I don't know.
Chris Patch?
What's that? Look at this guy. He is so bougie.
Bougie.
He's pinkying it up.
You want to go to the video?
Yeah, guys, next thing I want to bring up, it's a little lengthy. It's a couple minutes, but we figured, you know what? It's kind of cool. We want to show it to you because they took the time to send us this beer and a shirt for Nate. And, well, guys, here's a short little video on Narragansett and their company.
My name is Mark Kellengren, and this is the story of the Narragansett Brewing Company.
I like it.
On December 29th, 1890, the first Narragansett beer is produced. With the completion of their bottling line in 1914, Narragansett officially becomes the largest brewery in New England.
Narragansett Lager Beer.
On January 16th, 1920, Prohibition is in full effect. Narragansett is granted permission by the IRS to brew and sell beer for medicinal purposes.
Medicinal.
On December 5th, 1933, Prohibition is repealed. Rudolph Happenrepper Jr. becomes president and owner of Narragansett. In January 1934, Rudolph hires Theodore
Indians,
Geisler, best known as Dr. Seuss, to create an icon for the company. He designs the Chief Gansett image and several other advertisements for the brewery. In April 1944, Narragansett begins a 31-year relationship with baseball, beginning with the Boston Braves and eventually the Red Sox. Hot dogs, peanuts, and of course, refreshing lager beer all help make baseball more enjoyable. In April 1951, Kurt Gowdy becomes the voice of Red Sox baseball and the spokesman for Narragansett beer, coining the phrase,
"Hi, neighbor."
No! Look at him.
In 1955, Narragansett's market share peaks at 65% of all beer sold in New England.
Wow.
In 1958, Narragansett enlists Irene Hennessy as one of the high neighbor girls who escort patrons on brewery tours and attend promotional events. In 1959, Narragansett celebrates the brewing of 1 million barrels by presenting each employee with a gold-plated bottle.
Nice.
I like that.
Beer. The beer with that famous straight from the barrel taste.
In September 1961, Narragansett starts using animated television ads with the famous comedy duo of Mike Nichols and Elaine May.
So look at the bottle with the
the happy amber liquid glowing within it.
Oh my God, I love it.
On July 15th,
Yeah.
1965, Falstaff Brewing Corporation purchases Narragansett Beer for $17 million in cash and $2 million in Falstaff common stock. The deal takes 9 years.
See that guy's shoes.
Yeah, they're all great.
On October
Exactly.
25th,
They're like working.
1969, Led Zeppelin performs in the
Wow.
Gansett Tribal Rock Festival at the Boston Garden. On October 10th, 1971, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young perform at the Gansett Tribal Rock Festival. Gansett also sponsors the infamous Newport Folk Festival when Bob Dylan goes electric.
Yeah, Bob
By
Dylan.
April 1972, Narragansett Brewery is producing 1.7 million barrels a year.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
On June 20th, 1975, the film Jaws was released.
Quint.
With the famous scene of Captain Quint crushing a can of Gansett. Under Falstaff's leadership, the brand began to lose its identity.
See, this is
Falstaff
what I know.
ended the Red Sox sponsorship, let go of salesmen, and ultimately Falstaff moved the production of the beer to Indiana.
wow.
On April 13th, 1983, the Narragansett Brewery closes its doors for good.
Aw.
On October 27, 1998, demolition of the once proud brewery begins. The bottling plant and 8 other buildings are demolished over the course of several months. The last remaining vestige of the brewery facility, the trolley barn,
Hairy hand.
is destroyed after a fire in 2005. In June 2005, a group of investors and I, Mark Hellengren, buy Narragansett Beer. With the help of former brewmaster Bill Anderson, we bring the beer back to its original recipe.
Nice.
In April 2010, just 5 short years after its resurrection,
Nah, dude, that
Narragansett
was so
sells
good.
its 1 millionth case since reforming.
Hell yeah.
And on December 29th, 2010, Narragansett celebrates its 120th anniversary. In 2011, Narragansett Lager Beer wins gold at the Great International Beer Competition. And Narragansett Light and all 4 Gansett seasonal beers win silver medals
I like
at the
the
World
Bach.
Beer
Yeah, the Bach, dude.
Dude, the box
Today,
cans are
Narragansett
legit.
Beer has reestablished itself as a classic American heritage lager and is once again available throughout New England and beyond.
Ooh.
And the story is still
Suck
unfolding.
it, suck it.
Narragansett, made on honor, sold on merit.
Wow. That was awesome.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that was a pretty awesome video by Narragansett.
Yeah, everything in there I liked except for the Red Sox crap. But yeah, I get it. They're from Rhode Island. Hey, that was a great video, man. I liked just the history of it. It showed like this dead beer, and that's probably how I knew it from Indiana. Was not doing too well, and then now it's back and since 2010, and it's winning the award. So fantastic! There it is. That's what we're drinking right now. The Blonde Catch.
The Fresh Catch, it is a blonde ale, 4.2%. Again, the untapped ratings, Danny, they're not up there with the lager because the lager is obviously the flagship from Narragansett, which is widespread all over the place. But for 19,000 check-ins, a score of a 3.44 is pretty solid. That's
Pretty
kind of
solid.
what I'm getting from this beer. From the fishermen who have fought the harsh waters of the Northeast for generations to the family clam bakes and lobster boils that celebrate their well-earned bounty, seafood is part of the fabric of every New Englander. We work hard, take nothing for granted, and have a good time doing it. When we crack our first lobster of the season, it's a big deal, an occasion to indulge, reflect, and party with friends and family. Since 1890, Narragansett has been the beer that fishermen toil to earn, and the beer with the rest of the salute with them. This beer honors the risk and hails the reward that comes with every fresh catch. Danny, what do you think of that?
I love it, Nate. I really do. I think this beer, I like this brand. I like the company behind it. I like everything that they're doing with it. And the fact that from where they came from in my world, man, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed, guys. Let's keep this thing rolling and let's get time. for the
Wow. Holy shit. Guys, you can see their flagships up here on the top left, right? Like they've got the lager, and then right underneath it, the fresh catch. They got the Narragansett light. And right down there, Danny, somebody had mentioned it before about the shandy. That lemon shandy right there is one of the more popular beers in New England during the summertime.
Oh yeah, I could see why.
10 things to know about Narragansett beer. I did not do all 10, but I thought you guys should know about some of them. How you doing, Barrow?
Barrow!
Narragansett Brewing is an American beer success story. The first Gansett Lager debuted in 1890, after which the Rhode Island-born brewery survived Prohibition, became the biggest lager maker in New England, and then, after complications following the 1965 sale of the brewery to Falstaff Brewing Corporation, shut down in the 1980s. Resurrected as a brand in 2005, then as a Rhode Island brewery in 2017, Narragansett is now one of the top 50 breweries in the U.S. It ranks number 44 of more than 6,000. High Neighbor is a slogan more than a century old. Narragansett Brewing Company's High Neighbor Have a Gansett ad campaign started after World War II, when the beer maker's cheery slogan graced newspapers, billboards, and trolley cars. The brewery itself started more than a half a century earlier in 1890. Danny, I'm not sure if you noticed in the video, but Narragansett's graphic designer was Dr. Seuss. I think that's pretty interesting.
I did notice that. That's awesome.
In an effort to revive the brewery after suffering significant financial losses during Prohibition, Narragansett approached a young artist to design a new mascot as part of a marketing campaign. That artist was none other than Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, who was credited with creating Narragansett's well-known, albeit completely inappropriate, Chief Gansett character, I guess to some. Narragansett still celebrates Dr. Seuss's birthday today. He would have turned 110 March 2nd, March 2nd, 2018. Narragansett was once the biggest lager producer in New England. Way before New England was famous for its hazy IPAs, in 1914, Narragansett was the region's largest lager brewery, equipped with the most modern bottling plant New England had ever seen. According to Narragansett, in 1955, its beer was the number one choice of consumers in New England, and by 1957, its brewery was the last in Rhode Island. There you go, Narragansett.
Wow. Narragansett, rich history. Been doing it for over 100 years. They had some bumps along the way, but they were able to re-stabilize, re-strategize, get some new investors, and it seems like they're doing really well these days, Nate. You talk about how popular it is. I wonder, do you talk to like Seth and your other buddies there on the East Coast? Are they familiar with this beer a lot? They drink it?
Yeah, they talk about it a lot. And of course, I would imagine a lot of people in New England, they probably look at Narragansett as a cheap commodity beer, which I completely understand. Depends on who you're talking to, and some of them feel that way, and some of them feel it's a really good alternative to a mass-produced lager beer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of enjoy it a lot, actually. The fresh catch. But moving on, guys, it's time to now bring out the what would you rather. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no right or wrong answer. You just go ahead. I'm going to throw a couple of scenarios at you. It's either this or that. Would you rather this or that? Okay, no right or wrong. If you wait for the end of the show and go ahead and write back, I'll always respond in the comments. But going with the first one, I'm going to give you a ticket. You can go to one of these two places. The first one being very topical. Very topical. Would you go to Qatar, to the World Cup 2022 this year? Okay, just started yesterday. It is Doha is the city, and looks like a beautiful city. I mean, it kind of looks like something out of like a futuristic fantasy world, right? Not so much the picture on the left, but the picture on the right with like those little circles from the aerial. I mean, that shit looks like it's out of like a George Lucas film. It's pretty interesting. Take a look at the structures they built for the World Cup, the actual stadiums themselves where the games we played. I mean, pretty cool, pretty massive. Not sure what they're going to do to go ahead and use these after the World Cup. I know a lot of people have basically worked hard to figure this out to make it happen. But each one is very, very well architecturally designed and state of the art type stuff. I just don't know how big Coitar is that it's going to be able to sustain these things. That's one of the things about the Olympics to talk about. Now, Coitar did lose yesterday to Ecuador. So 10 years in the making for them to build a team. They weren't able to beat Ecuador. But that is an option. Would you rather go there, or would you rather wait until January 5th and go to Phoenix, Arizona for the Super Bowl, the other football? All right, check it out. I've been to Phoenix a few times. I don't really particularly love it. To me, it's just like a desert. It does have some cool aspects to it, but the Super Bowl is a lot of fun, especially when the Bills play the Eagles and trounce them. There's where the game's going to be held and that thing. So you can see this thing is pretty high-tech looking from the side, but actually has an indoor-outdoor condition where the roof opens up. A lot of these retractable domes open up. You can control it. Phoenix gets incredibly hot throughout the year. Interesting. Now, look, the Super Bowl. All right. Justin says Super Bowl, never been to one. Wow. Okay. Barrow says Doha. Obviously, Super Bowl. Well, that's a tough one because when the Bills go, I don't want to go to the Super Bowl. I want to go home to Buffalo. I want to be there and celebrate with, the Buffalonian people. So for me, I'm going to have to say Quatar. I don't like soccer at all. It puts me to sleep. I think it's very boring to watch. But I think being at a game and being in a cool, interesting country and city like a Doha, Quatar might be fun. I'm going to Quatar. What about you, Nate?
Phoenix. I have no interest in the World Cup. Yeah, I'll go to Phoenix.
Going to Phoenix. Okay. Yeah, I get it. All right. The next one, going with number 2. Now, this one, I was sticking with the Rhode Island, Maine, kind of New England. So let's talk authors. Which career would you rather have? Or no, let's do this one. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's do the career thing. Which career would you rather have? Stephen King's career, where he wrote all these great books like Salem's Lot, you got The Shining, It, Cujo, Stan. What else? We got Pet Sematary. It goes on and on and on. Or would you prefer another Maine author, E.B. White, who brought us The Trumpet Swan, Stuart Little, and, of course, Charlotte's Web? I know what you're saying. Danny, are you high? Stephen King, this, that, and the other thing. But the reality is, most people probably know Stephen King because of his screen adaptations, his movies, okay? Because they certainly probably haven't read all his books, or if any one. But E.B. White, I'm sure you probably read The Trumpet Swan and Stuart Little in your middle school or younger years, and you definitely went through and read Charlotte's Web. So he had a different effect on you in terms of being an author. So whose career would you rather have? That's a tough one to say because E.B. White was a genius. He wrote children's books a different way. Obviously, Stephen King is amazing. I think if I was to have one of the two careers, I'd probably go with Stephen King just because his movies, his books were transpired in the movie. So I'm going with Stephen King.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna change my answer for the last one. I'm gonna go Qatar.
Oh, really?
Yep. I'd rather see a World Cup game than I would an NFL game. So I'm gonna choose that. I just wanted to go back in time.
You can go back in time.
Not Stephen King. What's the other guy's name? Even E.B. White. Anybody but Stephen King. Stephen King's a douchebag, so I'd rather E.B. White.
We're not talking about them personally, just their career. But going on, it doesn't matter.
I'm unable to separate it. So for me, E.B. White.
All right, the next one, going with foods. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have this delicious-looking pot of food? Okay, all boiled up in New England boiled dinner, dude. Look at that thing, dude. You got cabbage, you got carrots, you got white potatoes, and you got ham, salty pink ham, all boiled up. Or would you prefer to have a good old New England, Maine clam bake, right? You got your lobster in there, your potatoes, of course, your clams. You got corn, delicious, like basically seafood. So I get it if you're not a seafood lover. You're probably not going to take this one. I love boiled meats. I love boiled potatoes. That to me just is that cabbage that looks delicious. But for me, I can't pass on seafood. Any chance I get, I'm going with it. So I'm taking the Maine clam bake.
100% me too. I'm not even giving it anything other than Maine clam bake.
Looks good, man. All right, moving on to the next one. Very, very good. Which would you rather have? Okay, would you rather have a job as a beer distributor? Okay, okay. So the one guy carrying the kegs, I have no idea. The other guy in the square picture is actually my friend Steve Klimkowitz, who I remember the day he got hired when I worked at the place on the left as a beer distributor in Kenmore, and Steve is now the manager there. So there it is, the beer distributor guy. Would you rather, stock shelves with IPAs, like a lot of these beers, especially like the Sierra Nevadas and the what's the one from Texas that's pretty popular?
Lone Star.
No, the other one.
Shiner.
Shiner and the Narragansett. I stocked right there at that place on the left. So would you rather have this job as a beer distributor guy or a fisherman woman, whatever? Okay, so girl's got some pipes on her, dude. Jesus, dude. She'll just punch you, man. But she's strong as hell. Not an easy job, man. You see those fishing nets and the guy, it looks like he hasn't changed his shirt in about 3 days, but probably changed it this morning. Tough job. Fisherman, tough job. So for me, this one's easy. I'm going with the beer. I did it. I loved it. I still do it. I still drink the beer. I'm going with the beer distributor, Nate.
Well, if she's doing the job, I'm going to go with the fisherman. Then I know I can do it. I'm going to be a fisherman.
Oh, jeez. Dude, I don't know about that. I think that lady would drop you in your place, dude.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, going with the last one, and this one is not to be taken lightly. I want to go ahead and point this out because people have suffered during these two things, and I don't mean to put this up as a what would you rather for suffering. I wanted to put it up there as which one of these two things are you more afraid of? Okay, are you afraid of a blizzard? Okay, the pictures that were taken. This is just these pictures were taken off the news yesterday. So this is what Buffalo looks like right now. You can see trying to get through the snowmobile and where do you put all the snow? You can see on the one picture, it's all piled up. The other day, it looks like a tunnel without a roof. But here's the thing. Now that house that you see right there, that's new construction right there. That roof is strong. It's probably going to withstand. But some of those older roofs, like that you see on the right, they're older homes. They've been around since the 60s. They get wet. The wood gets rotted. That snow on top of the house is probably 500 pounds at least. I don't know, maybe more. So you're having a lot of concavements. All right, blizzards are pretty safe in terms of the next one. So which one do you fear more, a blizzard or, of course, doesn't happen as much, but when it does, it's devastating, an earthquake. Okay, terrible situation, and this is what I meant by not taking lightly. People have suffered dearly, and I'm not making light of it. I'm just doing the what would you rather. Which one do you fear more, a blizzard or an earthquake? And that one for me is an earthquake. I live in California. I don't think about it all the time, but it does cross my mind occasionally. I think we're pretty good here in terms of structure. Like the United States does build pretty well for earthquakes. But, you just never know. So beer distributor says borrow, earthquakes says Justin. I'm going to go with the earthquake. I definitely fear that more than a blizzard. Nate, what about you?
Earthquake.
Yeah, I mean, it's
pretty. It seems way worse. I don't know.
Yeah. Breaking update. Rocco had about 2% to win at the start of tonight's game. Now he's up, and now it's 44% to 56% in our fantasy football league. I fear earthquake's easy. Earthquake, never tried an earthquake. It's weird. You realize exactly what's going on right away, but then you notice it and you're like, oh yeah, it's an earthquake. I mean, I've been in my car a couple times in California where you're like this. A lot of the times I sleep right through them though. People wake up and say, oh, did you feel the earthquake? But hey, if you just Thanks so much for joining us on What Would You Rather. I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're drinking the Narragansett Fresh Catch. It's a beautiful citric ale. I really enjoy it, Nate. Let's go ahead and whack it down and give it a score. Okay. Now look, I came off of the first sip of that thing, not expecting it to taste like that. It's okay. I don't love it. It does have a nice, clean taste to it. It's not boozy. It's not very overpowering in the hops department. It's just a light, refreshing ale. I think it's pretty good. 3.5.
I'm going to go 4.5. I think it's exceptionally better than the lager, but that's just me. I like the clean, refreshing taste to it. 4.5.
Okay. And the price, Nate, how much does this baby cost?
Same as the last one, $10.99 for a 6-pack of 16-ounce cans.
Not bad. The only thing I'm going to give it a little bit slighter is the price. The alcohol percent is only 4.2. So I'm taking away at 0.5. All right, the design. We've already talked about it. We have it. We have a ceiling for a damn reason. Why don't we go all the way to the top, Nate? I'm giving it a score of a 5.0 because I absolutely love it. Let's take a good look at the can. It's just got all the right colors to it. It's got a lobster on it, the red, the font, the way it's bubble fonts. It's very simple to read. It catches you in the back end with their story. I definitely like this whole can. I like the white can. It goes all the way to the lip here, the sticker. It's a beautiful can. I'm giving it a 5.0. I don't usually give designs 5.0, but I really like this can.
5.0, 100%. I think it's awesome. One of the best cans in America, 5.0.
Okay. All right. Popularity, not as popular as before when we did the lager, but I think that it's well known. It's people that are in the Narragansett world. They understand it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a score of a 2.5 just because I don't think it's as popular as the lager. And the lager, I still don't think is as world popular.
I'm going to go 4.0. I can't knock the first beer and change the score. So I'm going to continue 4.0.
Excellent. Good score. Hey, forget about it, eh? All right. The TMD X Factor. Look, the fact that Narragansett sent this to Nate is free. It's awesome. They have recognition of our show. I think that's really great. I'm giving it a score of a 4.5. Boom.
Yeah, I'm going 4.0. I agree with Danny for the most part, but for me, it's a 4.0 on this one. Love it. Don't want to be too crazy. I don't want to give him a perfect score, 4.0.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, the verdict is in on my end. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're doubling down. A fresh catch for TMD scores 19. 19 for the fresh catch. 21. You're 21. You can drink now, bro. Wow. Very cool, Nate. Very cool. Nate, one of his highest scores, and he's a tough out, man.
What was yours? How much? 19?
19. Very rarely do I double up and have the same score, but on this week's show, we have double up 19s from the TMD. And let's
you have a winner, Danny.
We do. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the drum roll, please.
The winner for today's battle series of the Narragansett Beer, in particular, the sessionable beers, is the Fresh Catch with a score of 39.5 versus a score of 38. Danny, for the Narragansett Lager. It was very, very close. And two really good competitive beers. In my opinion, two of the better beers that we've actually tried in the past couple of years, Danny. They're really good.
Yeah, not bad at all. It's tough to bring out all of them to mind, but definitely enjoyed drinking them. The Fresh Catch is a noble winner. I mean, the product is really good. And Narragansett, you're doing all the right things. I'm glad to see you're on the right track. I hope that we can help you grow. And, if we reached out to one person this week and we told them about Narragansett and they're familiar with it, that's awesome. I hope they go get a chance to try it out. But now it's time to go ahead and wind down the show with the die. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Let's go ahead and chuck it up. And I am getting a number 3. So what am I listening to? I'm listening to WGR 55, the home of the Buffalo Sabres and the Buffalo Bills. I'm listening to sports radio, guys. I've been on the road a lot this week for my job. So I drove over 1,000 miles in the last week and a half. And, when you're on the road like that, sometimes music, it just drowns out your intensity. So you want to listen to something easy while you're humming down the road. And I like listening to the Bills and the Sabres, especially now when they're losing, because I want to hear what people have to say. Nate, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to?
So I rolled a 3. I am listening right now. It is the first time in my life with any fervor that I am listening to her, and that is
Taylor Swift.
Taylor fucking Swift, dude.
I was right. Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, okay. Hey, man, go for it, dude.
Sad.
Hey,
But
anti-hero.
I haven't even listened to that one yet. But I can appreciate it. I'm starting to get myself into it for the first time. I've never been a Swiftie, Danny, but something's pulling me in. I don't know. There's something about it.
I mean, dude, we get moved in a lot of different ways, right? We never really truly know. So I'm glad that you're enjoying something new and trying it out. And yeah, man, it's interesting to see all types of music for different moods. And there's obviously nobody can say anything about her talent. So if they do, they're probably just jealous because they've never made it in what they wanted to do. So hope you enjoy it, Nate. Go for it, Taylor Swift. It's time for the quote of the show. And let me bring you guys to this quote right here. And I'm going to read it to you and tell you what I think. And you can go ahead and ponder it. Check it out. It says, "You can, you should, and if you're brave enough to start, you will." There it is from Stephen King. This guy, I love this quote because it can be applicable to anything you're doing in life. And if you just go ahead and start something, have the courage and be brave about it. You're probably going to be messy. It's probably going to be sloppy. It's probably going to be undone. But you know what? His quote signifies that you will do it if you start. Okay? If you're brave enough to start it, you can go ahead and do it. And I oftentimes refer back to when I was kind of contemplating to go ahead and starting this show and more or less YouTube in general. And parts of it, a little bit of it scared me. You know what I mean? That I came from the acting world and I didn't know what the hell I was doing with YouTube. But once I got going, once I had the brave start, and I don't mean like bravery, I'm not doing anything on the battlefield or anything. I'm just saying how you can apply it to your life. Find these little things, take these little quotes and apply them. Whatever you're out there thinking about doing, if you just go ahead and start it, just have the courage to get going. Be brave about it. It's going to be scary. You're not going to know what the hell you're doing. But like Stephen King said, you'll probably end up doing it. If you have the bravery to start it, you'll probably end up doing it. Just go ahead and give it a try. If after a little bit you don't like it, well, nobody can say that you ever didn't try. And you know what? No regrets, that type of thing. So that's why I really enjoyed this quote. I hope that you did too. Check it out one more time. You can, you should. And if you're brave enough to start, you will. So I hope you like that. Nate, what do you got anything to say about that quote or anything in general about the show today? Anything at all?
No, but good luck to the United States men's team as they travel to, how do you pronounce it? Is it Qatar, Qatar? How do you say it?
I always say Qatar.
Anyway, good luck over there, guys. I hope you bring it home.
Yeah. USA, USA, USA. Well, that's going to conclude today's show. I hope that you enjoyed it. Both of them for me. We got a 19. We drank Narragansett Lager and Narragansett Fresh Catch. But today's winner was the Fresh Catch. And it was just that. It was fresh. It was exciting. It was awesome. We had a great What Would You Rather. We had some fun stuff to talk about. Thank you to each and every one of you that stopped by for the show, even if it was for a minute. Thank you so much for saying hello, commenting, enjoying beer. Hope you learned something. You found some value. You were entertained. Nate, do you have anything parting to say?
See you all next Sunday.
See you all next Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm Travel Man Dan. That's Neighbor Nate. Hey, neighbor, have a Gansik. And remember, it's a big world out there. Make sure you see every bit of it.